Hello, everyone. I wanted to talk to everyone today about something that I find to be incredibly interesting. Considering what I do, guiding people in healing and clearing stuck energy, activating deep natural healing. I am always watching, observing what is going on out there in the world when it comes to new systems for healing, or the latest one for me is seeing all the trauma informed coaching that's out there. So I got really curious and I thought, you know what? Let me see what this trauma informed coaching course is all about, because that's in my lane and I'm really curious. And I found it to be very interesting. I don't have anything good or bad to say about it other than it's very interesting. I was recognizing all of the language. So, how ever since psychology went mainstream, everything is really pathology heavy when it comes to healing. Everything nowadays, when it comes to healing, has been incredibly pathologized. And with that being said, the more I have been watching these trends, I got to the point where I'm like, this is all the same. Like when you get to the root of healing, healing is truly getting in touch deeply within yourself and having true, authentic conversations with yourself and doing the actual work that is required, that you need as an individual in order for you to deeply integrate what you've experienced in your life and to really be able to move forward from there. It can, get really different from person to person. There are so many things that are the same or similar, but then unique or specific to the individual. So, with all this being said, I completed the trauma informed coaching course because of my level of curiosity about it. Um, I really didn't find anything that I didn't already know. Like, nothing was new to me. I have a background of 13 years of working one on one in medicine. So, I mean, I was a bedside nurse for 13 years. So, I got a lot of that experience, especially through continuing education and, trauma courses and all of that. So, perhaps my, level coming into it was already, more expanded than most. But what I really started to focus on was what I do now to help people, guide people in healing, and looking at all of the different avenues for healing and systems that are out there, and how much like simplicity gets rebranded as something else and actually just keeps people going around and around and around. And if there is something that gets to me, there's not a lot that does. I find a lot of things to just naturally be annoying. But if there's something that really gets to me, it is taking something that is simple and adding so much complexity to it that makes it incredibly confusing, or you rebrand it to make somebody think that it's something different, and it's like almost like this out for them, like this kind of like easy way to get out of like maybe doing the work or maybe convincing somebody that something is different and they've missed something in healing, that I find to just be completely absurd, to be honest. And so I was sitting writing all this out, having this conversation with myself, and I'm like, I want to get on and talk to everybody about this because I feel like there'll be a lot of people out there in their healing journey or wherever you're at, maybe experiencing something in life that you'll want to hear this and be aware of it. And so I'm calling it the simplicity trap and how repackaged trends keep you looping. And by that, I mean you're just going around and around, like basically spinning your wheels in the mud. And maybe you're feeling like you're doing a lot of work, but you're not getting anywhere. You're like, okay, this is the same. Things aren't really changing. And it's really because it's repetition, repetition, repetition. You can keep repeating it, right? But you're not actually integrating anything. So you're not actually getting anywhere, but you're trying real hard. And that's super fucking frustrating. Like, let's just be honest, that's a really frustrating place to be. And when you're already working on or doing the things that you feel are best for you when it comes to healing, or you're believing what somebody else is telling you, or you're just hoping that maybe this next thing will help you, it's like I want to give something that is really clear to people and to be incredibly transparent and honest and to really, help people out. And I don't think that in the healing realm that it's said enough that there are many things that just aren't easy. And there's no way of truly bypassing the work. And you can rebrand something as a quick fix all day long, but let's just get real. It's like quick fixes just don't work. We live in this day and age where we're constantly looking for convenience, or we have these super busy lives, and so we want to hack everything and we want a quick fix for everything and we want a convenience for everything. And when it comes to healing, I've never found that. So if you actually find that, you message me and you tell me what that is, because I would be very interested in that conversation. So, with that being said, the simplicity trap and how repackaged trends in healing just keep you looping. So, we live in a time where simplicity is being rebranded as depth. So, repetition, repetition, no integration. You have to get to the depths and have those hard conversations with yourself when it comes to healing about what's actually going on inside of you. And yes, so where recycled ideas are repackaged also as like revelations, like it's some big revelation. And where truth is being watered down into some aesthetic trend. So, you'll hear stuff like slow down, just be, feel your feelings, and it's all simple, right? Yes, but it's not new, and it's definitely not the full picture. So, this constant rebranding of spiritual basics into these bite sized mantras creates some kind of illusion of progress. So, it makes you feel like, oh, yeah, yeah, I'm getting somewhere. And I've been in the same situation before in my past. I'll talk more about that another time. I keep notes right here so I don't go off on tangents. So, those bite-sized mantras creating the illusion of progress, it gives the nervous system a temporary like exhale, right? You're like, I'm getting somewhere, this momentary sense of clarity. But it doesn't actually move you. It doesn't disrupt the patterns that you're actually living in. And that's what's important. You're living in patterns day to day, moment to moment. And so simplicity is not actually, it's not the problem, but when it's used to bypass the depth of those patterns that I was just talking about, or as an avoidance of doing real work, then it just becomes another loop. You just keep going around and around. It becomes another identity. It becomes another way to perform. So it's like all of these layers on top of you. And so that's just what you keep entertaining, and you never really get into what is actually going on inside of you. And that's really what I'm talking about. So it becomes this trend loop where we see it constantly everywhere. And if you're listening to me right now, you're going to see this if you haven't already seen this. It's a new healing method that goes viral. It's a spiritual phrase that becomes the new hashtag. And it becomes another nervous system truth that's getting branded as an aesthetic. So people start repeating it. They start like wearing it, right? You can tell because they're saying it all the time, or they're building their identity around it, but nothing in their life actually changes. And that's how you know. It's like that's the root of it's like, how do you know if what you're doing is actually working? Because you're getting actual changes. And then it's like, okay, is that something that continues over time? Is that something that you can maintain? And this is why you'll hear people often talk about it. Oh, well, it's a lifestyle. Well, of course it's a lifestyle. But is what you're doing actually getting you the changes? Because repetition is not integration. If you're just doing it again and again and again, it's just repetition. So you start to believe you're evolving when really you're just reinforcing this loop going around and around. And it just has better language and softer colors. It's new. It makes you feel like, oh, yes, maybe this thing, or it's going to be different, or this time. In the stories that start playing, the things that you're telling yourself, because it's just something new. It's the same thing. It's been rebranded. So, why do these trends actually sell, and how to see it, like how to see through them? How do these trends actually sell to you, and how you can learn to start seeing through them so you don't just keep going round and around? So trends sell because they speak to what your system wants to believe. You want to believe it, right? You inside, you're like, I want. And if you start noticing this about yourself, you'll realize yourself when you're doing it. So something new comes up, and the trend speaks to that part of you that wants to believe that, here you go, healing can be simple. That the truth can actually be an aesthetic. That growth can be packaged. That you can feel better without actually changing. The subliminal message that's playing is actually, you can avoid discomfort and still call it transformation. Oh, you guys. That's why trends are addictive. They let you stay comfortable while giving you the illusion of progress. They offer a sense of belonging, identity, and control, but they cost you your clarity. That's why what ends up happening is just a shit ton of confusion. You don't really know. You're just like, oh, well, I'm just doing this. I'm just doing what they say to do to heal, and I'm doing it again and again and again, and I'm just repeating, but, nothing's really changing. I'm not really getting anywhere. So, how to recognize trend-based loops. So, you'll feel inspired by the words, but nothing shifts in your behavior. You'll talk about nervous system work more than you actually live it. You identify with spiritual language, but feel disconnected from yourself. You keep searching for new tools instead of using the one you already have. So, what's the truth? The truth is this: the real work is still the real work. It doesn't matter how many trendy methods you try, how well you can talk about your trauma, or how aesthetically pleasing your nervous system practices look on social media. If you're not making daily internal connection with yourself, choosing what's true over what's easy, telling the truth when it's uncomfortable, or interrupting the behaviors that keep you safe and small, then you're not doing the work, you're just collecting the language. So simplicity is not a shortcut. True simplicity is on the other side of complexity. So it's earned through internal connection, honesty, and consistency. So you can absolutely choose the real work, or you can absolutely avoid it. You can keep choosing the trends. You can keep buying into, the next spiritual gimmick that they give you. And they make a lot of it very flashy and appealing. So notice when it feels like that inside of you. So you can delay it. You can bypass it with the trends and the feel good language, but eventually your system will speak. It's usually like, when what you have going on, all hell starts to kind of break loose and things start compounding, and, it really just can start falling apart, getting worse. So it can get louder and louder, yes, and your body will probably ask for more. And the loop, the going around and around, will often start feeling very unbearable. And at that point, you won't need another method. So you'll need internal connection with yourself, presence, and integrity. So it's not going to be another trend. So, and that becomes a choice of yours. And what do you actually do then day to day? Like if you said, "Hey Robin, okay, well you're talking about all of these trends, or you've said everything that you've said now. So what do you actually do then?" If it's just simple and I don't need to buy into one more thing, and the next time I see my healing rebranded as in this new tool or this new technique or this new system, and you say it's just simple, then what do I actually do? Start every morning with 5 minutes of silence. And I'm not telling you to meditate. I'm telling you to start with 5 minutes of silence and just listen to yourself. And then I want you to ask yourself honestly, where am I performing? Where am I real? And then choose one moment every day to respond from truth instead of out of habit. Stop looking for the next tool and use what you already know. And then track your energy. So you're going to pay attention to how you're feeling in your body, what's going on. So is the choice that you're making feeding your truth? Or are you able to recognize a pattern that you go into, and is it feeding the pattern? So I'll be honest, they're not glamorous steps. And they're not trendy, but they will bring change, that's for sure. So choose them, try them out, or don't. But the whole point of all of this is I just want you to recognize the difference. Bye.